So yesterday well, we're in the middle of the worst cold weather calamity to ever affect humanity at any point in time, and it's affecting us here in Huntsville, Alabama, most likely worse than anywhere else. The temperatures are going to get down into the single digits, and of course we've already, as early as Friday, we've already decided that because of that we're delaying bus service to the schools. That has very little effect, by the way, on parents and people that work. So this should be, a precautionary tale to make certain that people don't die in massive numbers. Not, and I have to be truthful here. Look, you should wear a coat and gloves and a hat because it's cold out. I mean, I know this doesn't happen to us very often. Once every 1,000 years or so, the calendar rolls around, the earth spins around the sun, tilts on its own axis or further away, blah 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 blah, all this science involving weather and stuff, and it turns out that for this cold period of time, there's a phrase known as winter that is used to describe it. When we here in the northern hemisphere are farther away from the sun than ever, our days are shorter, blah blah, things get cold, blah blah. Anyway, they had hyped it pretty good, and I guess I have to admit I kind of fell for it. On Friday evening they were talking about going out on frozen ponds and lakes and the dangers involved, and so I figured, well, it's getting that cold, obviously the water is making ice, in spite of growing up north and in spite of understanding scientific principles and such things as that. I knew that it probably wasn't the case, but they kind of convinced me. And so we went yesterday to Guntersville to harvest ice, cutting big blocks of ice from the water and skidding it out, loading it on trucks. And our goal was to come home and build an ice palace, much like they do in St. Paul every winter, where the weather is actually cold and people still manage to go to school and do stuff. So we thought, we'd been to see an ice palace once, and they look, unfortunately, there you go. There's a good picture of an ice palace in St. Paul. Probably an 84, 85 version. When they first went back to doing them, they had done them for many years and then they stopped. And then you can see another picture, different lights. So my goal for Kim and I was to build an ice palace like that. If nothing else, at least one spire or room, light it from the inside, show people that even though it's cold, you can have fun, it can be a blast. And well, imagine our surprise, and in spite of all the weather reports, we get there and if you wanted to harvest ice, you'd have to do it in buckets, bring it home and put that water in your freezer in order to get ice. So that was a colossal failure, which kind of was a downer for me. So I decided, well, come on, let's do something. And this morning I decided I would try again, and this is kind of what I'm left with here. Obviously I can't build an ice palace with what I've got, so I thought, well, maybe I'll try just a little Stonehenge kind of thing here. But as you can see, I probably don't have the right tools to do it, so essentially all I've got here is just a collection of ice cubes and a plate. That's probably as big a letdown as the actual hyping of the weather has been, so I'm a little sad right now.